I think I'm live. So this is Transistor, which is the second game by Supergiant Games. You may also know them from Bastion or more recently Pyre. We actually start once I pull out the sword here, which is actually the Transistor. So in Transistor we play as Red, who is a singer, but recently, or just now, she got attacked by a secret order of bad guys called the Camarada. And basically she lost her voice, and her boyfriend, who took the fatal blow, is now trapped inside the Transistor, which is why our sword is always talking to us. Here we have our first tutorial regarding the battle system, because the key feature of the battle system is a time freezing mechanic, this one here, called turn, but I will probably still just call it time freeze because it's easier. During time freeze you can plan your actions ahead, and once you stop the time freeze it will be executed in that order, which obviously is pretty powerful. But actually we will not use it all that much for battles, especially in this category, because I'm running low percent, and low percent in this game is, or in this category, or on our leaderboards is defined as gaining as few experience as possible, which if everything goes right should be level 4 and 40% at the end, compared to level 6 and 10% in any percent.
We're on the edge of town, 100 blocks away.
So for now we've been battling some weird white creatures, you maybe saw them. They're the so-called process. The story is basically those bad guys that attacked us. They are attacking famous people all around the town to trap them inside the transistors, so they gain their special abilities, which would allow them to basically recreate the city however they wanted to. And for that to happen, they basically let free this alien entity called the Process to eradicate the town, so they have a clean start and can do whatever they want. However, as always, the plan doesn't really work, and now the aliens are basically out of control, and we kind of have to stop that. So this next fight will include a so-called young lady. Once I attack her, she will split up. Now I will use the time freeze mechanic here. This is one of the few instances where I actually use it, just so I can spike her down more easily. And here you will see she will let loose a lot of so-called cells. I was actually pretty lucky there, because I was able to collect all of them before they respawned. Now every enemy you kill will release such a cell. For all other enemies that are not young ladies, if you don't collect them, before a count of 10, the original enemy will simply respawn. So it is absolutely necessary to collect all of these cells. As I said, young ladies are an exception. There you will just get some smaller enemies, but as I said, I was pretty lucky to collect all of them there. Here I pick up probably the most important skill, my skill number 4, so-called Jaunt. It's the zipping skill, which not only is my fastest movement option, but also will allow me to do most of the out-of-bound tricks that I'll be using. Now this tutorial section we're doing right now is actually exactly the same between any percent and low percent. You can attempt to do some skips with the New Game Plus file, but even if you do so, the game will soft lock, so this is always the same no matter the category. And this is already the final fight in the prologue, and after that we are off to our first cutscene. Cutscenes in this game you cannot skip, which from a speedrunning perspective might not be all that optimal, but then again I really like the presentation in this game, so it's not that bad for once, except that this fight is going rather poorly. But that's fine, I hope, if this would speed up a bit.
For the cutscenes we have a couple of donations I can read later.
Okay, that would be nice.
We still hear you, okay? They're gone, but so is this whole block.
Okay, now we just hop onto our motorbike and we're off to the cutscene.
Oh, hey, motorbikes.
Yes, every game I play has to have a motorbike.
Take the second right.
So that's the cutscene. What?
Alright, so I have a couple of donations.
Nice.
$5 by Alex T. Fenris. He says, Alex T. Fenris here, aka Der Dritte Spieler, with Heinke on the couch. I just have to donate. May RNG be in all speedrunners' favor, today and always. I know you never asked for this, but all the greetings again from Leverkusen. Thank you very much for your $5. And Roby XD donates $5 saying, Caddy, less than 3. I have a $20 donation from Fenno the Fox. who says, here's to Cadarev, the best boy on the planet. To all viewers, give Cadarev all your love and support. If anyone could be considered the star of the marathon, surely this Cadarev has proven it is him. Love you, Cadarev. And $3 from Smuvlax, who says, good luck, Caddy.
Fino, you have a weird definition of a star, but thank you very much. So now we're actually going a different route than in any percent, because here I can already skip the first fight by simply jaunting or zipping around the fight barriers. If I don't trigger them, hopefully. Looking good so far. That's good. Now here I will prepare my first out of bounds. If you click on an item in this game, you will queue it up, and once you run past it, you will use it. However, if you also use the time freeze mechanic, first you will do the time freeze stuff, and then the action will be executed. So now the game is kind of confused, because I obviously went through that door there, but also I still have some actions to do in the other part. Here we'll do a safety save, you never know. Then here I will use this OVC terminal, which will bring up a menu screen. And you might want to get used to seeing that screen, because it will happen quite often. The reason I get this here is if you cancel out of a menu screen while in a forced movement transition, you will be able to go out of bounds, because once you cancel a menu screen, for whatever reason, you're also able to use your time freeze mechanic. And if you use your time freeze mechanic in a forced movement transition, you will go out of bounds. Now, downside obviously is, as long as I'm not doing that, I kind of have a menu screen blocking my view. Here you can see it's also, the game is a bit confused because now the menu screen is semi-transparent. So now I can slide off it, I use time freeze, and this should leave me in a state of zero collision. So now I should be able to go through these fight barriers here, walk on the water, good. And just ignore these guys and go into the next area. So as I said, you might want to get used to A, seeing the menu screen, and then B, not seeing red at all, because she most likely will be invisible, which is a nice side effect. And by nice I mean it's rather annoying, because I don't know where she is. Now this area I can break rather easily without even going for such a weird trick. You can just go out of bounds there on the bottom. Now once again I can't see red, but you can see that the screen is moving. Here I kind of have to count for a bit, or otherwise I just look at the timer and know when 15 seconds have passed. That it's normal that the screen doesn't move here. It should move once I don't go up and right anymore. So here I just skip basically one fight with all of this. In any percent, we actually do a lot more fights, which is kind of weird because obviously those cost time. But not only are fights usually faster to do than skip them, it's also the case that we need some XP in low percent, 90%, sorry.
Everyone except for them.
Okay, we should hit a trigger, there we go. And now I can hum, good. And after this we have the next cutscene, and after that cutscene we get our first boss, which is Sybil. She's one of those 4 people who attacked us, but as it turns out she actually had a crush on Red. And the other guys basically, kicked her out of the group because she was getting too close to us. And now she's been partially consumed by the alien entity and is kind of torn in between us and, going wild.
Can we take this moment for another few donations?
Sure.
All right, I have $5 again by Roby XD, who says also at Cadarev. Sorry. And no. $20 donation by QTom without a comment. Thank you so much for your $20. $5 from Horst, who says, zieh durch, Hurs!
What the fuck?
And Louis Falkenrath donates $15, or Falkenrath, I don't know. Greetings from the USA. After a long night of work, it's great to come home and relax watching these great speedruns. Good luck to all the runners. Thank you very much for your $15 donation.
Thank you indeed.
Also, you didn't sing.
So now
What? There was a singing scene.
Well, we have a very short flashback sequence here. So this is exactly what happened at the start of the game. You may recognize this scene. And here we will pull out the sword again, and then we have our first fight. Now in any percent, as I said, we do get more experience. And here it is mainly so we get one skill which would allow us to one-shot this boss in every one of her 3 phases. But since we skipped quite a few fights already, we don't have that skill yet. So we actually kind of have to fight her as intended.
She's here.
which can be a bit tricky.
Lost her damn mind.
So my main goal is to use time freeze, and I already... Oh, well, this will be interesting. Usually I would debuff her, but I forgot that I lost the skill in the tutorial fight, never mind. So yeah, my basic goal is to use time freeze and then get behind her to get bonus backstab damage while using my strongest long range skill, which is kind of like, you know, has limited range to the sides, but is a very strong skill. Can you please slow at me? Thank you. As you may also have seen there, once she's off screen, she doesn't move anymore, which can be abused to, you know, kind of manipulate where she is. And you also see at the top, after time freeze, the bar starts to fill up again. This is my countdown before I can use the time freeze again.
Almost got her.
You never played with it? No. Can you please move?
I'm just here for a...
Okay.
Sybil.
So now is the third and final phase. Here she will first spawn some guys that shield her, which is obviously annoying, so I need to get rid of those.
Can you still hear me?
Where is she? There she is. This is what I meant when, like, she's off screen, she's not moving. So I can actually just use that to refill my cooldown. But now I kind of want her to move a bit down, so I'm closer to the exit once I actually kill her. Which should be after the next time freeze. Yep. And that's that. So now we actually have enough XP where we get that one strong skill I was mentioning before. Obviously a bit too late for this fight, but we will use it in the few fights that we will fight from now on. It's basically a bomb that you can place anywhere on the field, and once you damage that bomb, it goes off and it deals a lot of damage. In fact, you will basically one-hit most of the common enemies for quite a while now.
With any luck.
Oh look, I have my skills back. So it's a number 2 skill. It's called Load, and you will see it in a bit. We now have the next cutscene. So now as I said, this was Sybil, the first of the 4 people that attacked us. So now she's gone, we have 3 left, and basically our quest from now on is to at least get to one of them and ask them how to stop this, because we only see that the alien entity is running wild, but we don't know how to stop them, except, you know, killing each one of them would take probably a bit too long before the city is ruined.
Don't know for what.
Also, I have a $5 donation from Scubo, who literally says less than 3 written out in words. Thank you very much for your $5, Scubo.
You could ask him why. And I have this feeling he's gonna let us know.
So at the end of this, or after this cutscene, I will, after entering the next level, I will mash the time freeze, or, you know, space for the time freeze. If I do it quickly enough, I can actually get into time freeze before the fight barriers pop up, which is one of the few instances where you actually can do that. Not this one, once I go through this door.
Okay. Road to high rise should be right around the corner.
Good. So now, as you can see, I was just able to go through that, and now, since that fight is technically still active, none of the other fights will spawn,
This is new.
and I can go straight to the level
High rise
exit
is dead ahead.
here.
That's pretty neat.
I know, right? I will do a similar thing here, where I will not use space or, you know, time freeze to circumvent a fight. I will actually zip into the area in a specific spot, or semi-specific spot, and hopefully circumvent the fight barriers. Yep. So you can hear the fight started, but you can see there are no fight barriers. Then I want to trigger some enemies over here, because I need them for my next out-of-bound glitch. I actually need to do this fight down here, so the next part of the level loads up. Okay, that guy's a goner.
It's working overtime.
Hi there. So this is the skill I was mentioning, load the bomb you can place. So now I'm actually going back because I need another one of those menu screens.
Hey!
Shut up.
Is anyone out
I
there?
mean the transistor. So
Thought so.
so here, okay, I got the screen. Now I need to hit 0 HP, so I get another time freeze. And once I cancel out of that, I can move again with the menu screen up, which can take a while because sometimes they don't hit me. There we go. So now during time freeze I'm trying to get away from the enemies, obviously, because I don't want to get hit while having 0 HP, because then I would lose some more skills. I don't know where I am, which is rather common when this menu screen is up.
How do you know where to go?
I don't. I press some buttons and I hope it works. There we go.
Alright, that's relatable.
I know, right? So obviously, like you can see on the border of the screen, like I have some clue of where I am, but you know the important part I can't really see.
Made it.
So now I have to get past this bridge. You can clearly see, and once I'm in the next movement transition, I will cancel out of the screen. And that allows me to go from here, ignore these guys, straight down here to the next part of the level.
Teleporting through houses, why not?
So this next part is kind of an auto-scroller. It's basically we're on an elevator and enemies will spawn in a predetermined pattern. So once you know the pattern, it's basically always, you know, you can plan where you place your bombs and whatnot.
Something's wrong. Get ready.
And that's the last one. So next up I will actually fight, or do a fight that we don't do in any percent, which is a bit weird since obviously I want to gain as few experience as possible. However, I need to do this fight to prevent a soft lock later on, because I will do a skip that we don't do in any percent. And if I don't do this next fight, the game would soft lock shortly thereafter. It's this exact fight here.
Stay.
Also rip doggy.
Stay.
Oops. So next up I want to trigger this elevator up here without actually riding on it
Terminal on the corner
to
back there.
skip some more fights. So I do that once again with the time freezing mechanic. And now I kind of have to reach a save terminal. First I kind of want to know where I am, which is also a bit difficult in this mode. There we go. Because I kind of need all the parts from the cooldown bar I can, so I can reach this part. So you will see I will move up because the game thinks I'm on the elevator. And that should be enough at where I can reach this save. Yeah, okay, good. So now I can save here. And you will see the game's kind of confused because I still have the cooldown bar at the top. So everything went as intended by me, at least. Okay. Oh, well that's bad. It's okay. That's why we saved there. That's better. So now you can see there are no fight barriers. I probably was too close to the edge there and triggered them previously. So now I can once again just go to the end because technically that fight is still the active one. Also this skip here makes a lot of sense from the perspective, so we just jaunted right down there. And now we're on to the next part, which has probably one of the two most complex skips in this route. The spine skip, and the problem about the spine skip is it's basically 2 minutes long with no checkpoints in between, and obviously the most precise part is at the very end, which is very fortunate. And once again it will involve me having a menu screen up, so that doesn't help things. So first I will go to my right to trigger a fight, because once again I need to hit 0 HP to be actually able to move with the menu screen up, which is this fight here. So now this spine thing here will come down regularly, and I actually want to get hit here a few times, so it doesn't take as long once I'm in the menu screen.
Is that what is doing this to me? Every time you cast a
So this is the OVC terminal we need. Now I just need to get hit one more time. There we go. Cancel out of this, so now I can move. Yeah, from now on you probably can't see what I'm doing, so I'll just try to explain. For example, I did not mean to get hit there, but whatever. Now I'm back where we first triggered the fight, and there is a movement transition very close by, which is what I will use to go out of bounds. Which should be around here. Good.
Seems like you're safe. I take full credit.
Now you actually kind of have to follow a pretty set pattern where to go to trigger the loading parts, loading triggers correctly. So that was good. Also, the game is obviously also confused how we got in here.
But at least he greeted you.
Someone, right? So now here we go all the way up to the boss of this level, which is the spine sort of thing that was attacking us until recently. And I want to hit the exit to the level here without triggering the actual boss fight. If I trigger the boss fight, that would be rather bad, because then I can't hit the level exit without killing the boss, and killing the boss would give me XP. So I kind of want to use a somewhat precise lineup here. Good.
No way.
Okay.
Know where we are?
Easy every time.
Here.
Yes, of course. I was not worried in the least.
This should lead up to the concourse.
So now we're actually approaching the next two guys of the Camarada, so the secret order that attacked us. Nice freeze there.
From the Camarada.
It's really you.
We'll find them.
Come all this way.
For that we have to unlock a huge gate, which is locked by, or closed down by 2 locks. And we have to unlock them in the 2 side areas. So actually, first get a safety save here. So up here is the gate. You can see 2 red locks. So we will do the right one first.
Storage archives.
And to skip the first fight, we will actually interact with the checkpoint. As I mentioned earlier, you can queue up actions by clicking on them. But the actions from the time freeze will be executed first. So now I can actually save in a fight, because this triggers the fight, and I also trigger the checkpoint, and I can reload, which is not something you should usually be able to do, save in a fight. And for whatever reason, that actually makes the fight go away, which is handy.
We're on the top level. Oldest archive.
And now I can already go to the switch in this area, so actually I would be done with this area. However, to skip as much of the other area, so the left side, as possible, I have to do a bit of backtracking here to get another OVC screen up. So yes, the next minute or so you will have a nice screen blocking your view. I want one of these guys to follow me, because once again I need to hit 0 HP as soon as I have the OVC screen up. And the closest one, sadly, is all the way back here.
Another message waiting.
So once I hit 0 HP, I once again have to go all the way back to where I hit the switch originally, because there's an elevator that will bring me back down. There we go, that's 0 HP. Now I have to make my way back, which is very easy when everything's black and blocked by a menu screen.
What do you mean?
Looks fine to me.
Okay, good. So you don't want to get hit if you have 0 HP and your cooldown bar is not full, because if you do, the game soft locks, which is not really something I want to have. Yeah, this should be the elevator, as you can clearly see.
Looks like an elevator, yeah.
Yeah, see, perfect.
All right, let's check it.
So once
You
again,
got a
the
private message, by the way.
yeah. Can you read it out? I mean, what? So now in this movement transition I will cancel out of the screen, can immediately use the time freeze, and now I can go straight to this very intended path to the second switch without having to fight anything here. 90% is actually one of the main RNG areas because there is a pretty bad fight here.
Do we have another cutscene around? Because I have a couple of donations.
Soon.
Alright.
There's one more fight I have to skip.
Big door downstairs ought to be open now.
So now the gate is unlocked, but as you can see there are some enemies over here. Once again I will skip these by triggering this checkpoint down here and carrying it into the fight. So I want to interact with it, queue it up, go into time freeze and go into the fight so I can save in it, reload the game, and then I should be able to just reach the gate without them attacking me first. Good. I hope this works. Sometimes I can now zip up, which would be bad. Okay, good. Yeah, so this elevator will take a quick while, then we will go to the next two guys of the Camerata, and once I talk with them, or as well as I can talk with them, as you will see, there will be another cutscene.
Think about it.
So now we're off here. I can't use my zip skill here, all my skills are disabled, so there is no other reason for this. There are a few parts where all your skills are disabled, because I guess it's more dramatic, so now we come to the next two guys. And it's not a boss fight, so don't be worried, because they took care of that themselves.
It's called immersion.
Or emergency. So now we just have a few dialogues here and then we're off.
That's it.
I couldn't
The next
stay.
part.
What are you gonna do
From now on we will actually backtrack the entire way we came, but you will see the areas are a lot more white because the process, so the aliens, basically took over everything. But you should still be able to recognize most of the scenery.
How do we stop this? Fairview. How are we supposed to get all the way over there?
And that's that. So yeah, this is the next cutscene.
Alright, we have $5 from Becky Chan saying, "Don't mind me, just wanted to hear Zed's voice again." And the matching Henny's incentive for Doom, less than 3. Thank you so much, I'm flattered. And I'm also glad to announce that the Doom incentive is now matched.
Nice.
Strife donates $2 saying, "Hey Caddy, I hope you recovered well from yesterday. I'm so sad I couldn't be here for the rest of the run, for the best run of the marathon. Sorry, OPOP. Putting this towards Cluster Truck Twitch % for Heinke's pleasure. This incentive is, by the way, less than $100 away from getting met." Nenat donates $2 saying, "Good luck to all runners. I hope you're well, Caddy," less than 3. Who also matched the donation counter to 2100. And Flux Monkey donates $20 saying, "Tuck me in." And we have now successfully raised more than $100 since the start of the run. Awesome. Keep them coming.
Thank you so much.
Pretty awesome, guys.
So yeah, this part, we actually do exactly the same as 90%, there's no real skips we can do. So at the start here, the dog enemy will spawn in, but if I don't really use WASD keys, but just jaunt away, it will not attack me. So I can actually set up my bombs here and now lure it over. Since we just get spawned into this fight, there's no way for where we can skip it. Now here my skills will be disabled, but not before I can use the time freeze to gain a bit of distance by spamming my jaunt skill.
Got a full house.
So now, as you can see, no more skill bars, I once again have to move normally. And then next is not a skip where I will zip into the fight in a rather specific spot, so the fight barriers will not load up, but first a small safety save.
Steps. Get to where you found me.
Because it is one of the more precise skips, I would say. Good.
This isn't our town anymore. It's theirs.
Once again, skills shot disabled, but already back, so now we're in here.
You're still there.
So that's just one more segment here before we finally are reunited with our nice bike, which you might remember.
You know, Red, we made quite a team. Is that what? Oh, yeah. I'd like to go, if you don't mind.
Here I can skip around this fight, like completely without any... Wait, what? Oh, it's one of those. So yeah, you can just skip this fight entirely by going around the trigger, nothing fancy there. Here we will encounter the first of the strongest common enemies called a man. But luckily, since this one just spawns in afterwards, we can already prepare some bombs for it, and this is the next cutscene with our bike. So these man enemies are the last one we will now encounter. There will be like a few more fights with them, I think 2 maybe. And they're rather tricky, especially in groups, because they buff each other, and especially nasty is that they can basically make themselves invincible. So you want to take those out first. But before we get to those, another more complex skip, which for a final time will include having a menu screen block my view for a substantiated amount of time.
Bike deserves some kind of reward.
So now we're back in the tutorial area.
All his bike friends.
As I said, a lot more white this time around. This guy just pulls us over but then runs away, which is very nice, so it actually gives us enough time. That's where we can plant 4 bombs and one-shot it. So this is our final level up. As I said, level 4 is the highest that we will go. So now we need to use these guys over here to get us to 0 HP. I will already set up some bombs, and then I need another OBC screen, which is down here, but first I will go to the left for a safety save. Because as I said, this is a rather finicky trick, with a lot of projectiles flying around, and as I said, I don't want to get hit while having 0 HP and not a full time freeze bar. So this should trigger the fight now, so they should attack me, but I kind of wanted to hide myself behind those blocks, so I don't get hit by the full barrage of projectiles. So now, hopefully they don't hit good. Yep, okay. Now I obviously can see a whole lot, and hope that I can hit all of them. I will see shortly. You just have to trust my judgment here, whether I got all of them or not. I don't even see where I am, that's a good start. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, okay, got all of them.
The shit is wrapped.
Clearly. And now there is a rather long transition here, which I can easily use to
Anything else before we head out?
go out of bounds.
We can still get through.
Also, when not engaged, hold tab to hum a song.
Hello.
So once again, obviously something is not quite right here.
So good.
The camera should start moving soon, there we go. And soon it will just zip down to where we are, because we will hit the next trigger. And there we go. And we can, actually in any percent you have to talk to that guy there, and he just goes on for like half a minute. So this is one advantage of low percent.
Transistor.
And here we will access the final part of the game. This is exactly where we started our run, but obviously you can only unlock this after everything before.
Wow.
So this will be fair view in the final part of the game.
You got it.
And there should be 2 more fights, if I remember correctly.
Really?
The process can't be stopped. Can't be stopped.
And both of them will be against these men enemies I talked about earlier.
Being impelled to simply go away. Take its business elsewhere. And where
Where are we supposed to?
As for the town, ourselves, a blank canvas. And as for the transistor,
Just a small movement segment here. Also, please don't get confused about this. Next fight is coming up, so that should be a lot more clear.
What?
you see,
Mind blown, I know.
To Fairview.
nothing.
So as you can see, they kind of like go into stealth mode, during which they are invincible. And invisible, haha. Oh man, that was a bit unlucky. Yeah. I have to wait another turn. Actually, I want to really collect this one, so it doesn't respawn. Thank you. So now we're at level 4 and 20%, so the next fight should give us 20%, then we're good.
We have our detractor.
Well, let me try that again from a bit closer. This does not look... okay, should work. Yeah, good. So once again I use that checkpoint to save in the fight, reload. Fight should be gone. But it wasn't, okay. Don't know why I got... oh, I assume, yeah. Yeah, this looks better.
More.
Or not, I'm confused. Hmm.
More. That's a new one.
Maybe I'll just do this fight, whatever. Oh no, this should work, okay. Never mind.
Let's fly.
Not quite sure what happened there, but we are still on track, and this is a legitimate low percent run. Which is all that matters.
Said you can be anything you want in this town.
So up next is the last fight we really do, except of course for the final boss. Oh, go ahead.
I could get used to this.
Wowee.
Yes. So,
Just a bit farther.
yeah, safety save. So now we have 3 man enemies, all with these really nice projectiles that have a huge explosion radius, like this. Luckily these ones don't make themselves invincible, so that's a plus.
Sorry for the interruption. We just got a $50 donation in without a comment from Firing. Thank you so much for the $50 donation, my friend.
That should do it.
So there we go, level 4, 40%.
If Royce can hold him off, so can you. Next.
Just one more, oh well, 2 more fight skips, and then the final boss. Now I can already talk about the final boss a bit. So for the final boss I will once again use my bombs, but the thing is, the final boss also has the ability to freeze time. He also uses a transistor, and that can take really long because he plans his action real slowly, and yeah, it's generally a pretty tricky fight. But the plan is basically to always one-shot him and use time freeze before he can. And that's possible by using the skill we got with our last level up, which will basically summon a pet for us. And for whatever reason, if the pet attacks our bombs, the bombs get duplicated. So we can plant 1 bomb, attack it once, and if our doggy attacks it 3 times, we get 4 bombs out of it in total, which obviously helps us to conserve quite a bit of our cooldown bar. And we should be able to always use it before the final boss, who's already standing here waiting for us. Now here I carried that checkpoint past this first barrier, so now I'm actually able to just zip through all of these barriers. Usually you would have to wait in front of each one of them, and Royce up here on the pedestal would talk a bit, and then he would slowly turn off one barrier and we would advance and so on, but now we can just jump through all of them. And yeah, this is now the final level transition. After this we get our final boss fight. As I said, will mainly revolve around planting bombs and having a doggy attack bombs. Now Royce, who's the final boss, is somewhat well known for being a bit of a meanie from time to time and just run away and basically make you waste a lot of your cooldown bar, which is bad because, as I said, it's especially in low percent where we don't have the ability to reduce our cooldown, which we actually have in any percent because we would be 2 levels further ahead. Timing is rather strict here.
Let's see. The good news. Well, the process. I think we got it. Contained it. So, the town is going to be all right. It's just, well, someone's going to have to rebuild. But we flew a little close to the flame there, so now we're here, not there. We're stuck. And unfortunately, the only way back that I'm aware of is, well...
As I said, he likes to talk a lot, so luckily we were able to skip the first few conversations. Okay, let me see. That should be it. So skill number 4 will summon our pet, which was the first thing that I will do, but since he's a cheater, he always gets the first turn. Or time freeze. And then my first action will be summoning the pet, and then I will try, or I will hope he will not run away, which would be really nice. This looks good. So now I can plant one bomb, attack it so it goes off, and the doggy can attack it 3 times, which should bring him down. Sometimes he can survive with 5 HP. This time he didn't.
Didn't care for that.
It can happen if he's too close to the wall, basically, and the bombs bounce off too far away from him. But so far it's going well. Good, so now one more phase. Yeah, that's what I meant. 5 HP, but it's the last phase, so I can just basically do one attack and he's dead. And my pet even survived, wow. So that's the final boss fight. My pet is also pretty happy, as you can see. So now it's just basically interaction with some more, triggers, and we're done. Which will be once I once again reach the place where we start the game and hit the trigger there. So now basically Red and the Transistor are the only survivors of this town, and since she has all the power in her Transistor now, she would be able to recreate the city as she wants. So here we can kind of start with, cleaning up a bit, make all these processed statues return to normal, which we obviously do by singing, or humming rather.
Look at this. This whole town. I guess it's yours now. Blank canvas. And you still have the brush. Better you than the Camerata.
Finally, thank you.
So where do you want to start? Head back to your place in High-Rise.
Now it's just a short walk to the final trigger,
Junction jams. All the drinking joints in the canals.
which is the starting point of the game as well, and that's it. So yeah, that's Transistor Low Percent.
Can I point out something real quick?
Sure, you can.
Can you, like, your USB stick is like a transistor, so can you, like, show that? That's, like, really cool.
I hope I can and it doesn't crash everything. Okay, it didn't.
What are you doing?
So yeah, this is my USB stick.
That's so neat.
This is with the cap on, and you can just remove it and that's it. Oh, were you able to see it? I don't know.
This. Please. If you do this.
Whoa.
Wait.
I love how we just ruined this perfectly dramatic scene with...
Hey, the USB stick is more important.
The USB stick is actually on screen right now. I mean, what? But yeah, that's Transistor. I just want to quickly say thank you so much for all the well wishes since yesterday. I will reply to all of them, but I just had, other stuff in my mind once I was able to think clearly. Yeah, thank you everyone here for, helping me out. Especially Heinke. Basically, you're the only one I can remember from yesterday. All I remember is being dragged out by you from here to the kitchen.
Catalyst was here too, and others too.
Okay.
So don't worry, all good.
Thank you. So yeah, that's it. I'm done.